Hello and welcome to Richard's Comics. On today's episode, I'm going to go through my latest comic haul over the last several weeks. Got a few older books from the 80s and 90s, and have some more recent ones that just came out within the last several weeks. So let's go and get started. First book up, Cyberforce number 4. I believe this is volume 2. Next book, Daredevil 215. Next book up, Daredevil 237 up against Claw. Next one, this is Daredevil 255, the second appearance of Typhoid Mary. Next book up, this one's a little beat up. This is Daredevil number 264. This issue is interesting. It's actually a filler issue. John Romita Jr., who is the regular artist, he was actually getting married at the time when this book came out, and so they had a guest artist in this one. Next book. This is Daredevil 267 versus Bullet. Next one. Daredevil 273. I believe he's going up against a Shotgun, I believe. This is actually where Daredevil went to upstate New York and out of New York City. Next book up, Daredevil 291, also against Bullet. This is the end of the Ann Nocenti run, I believe. Next, Daredevil 292 versus the Punisher. Next book, Daredevil 314. Okay, and our next book, switching over to DC. This is Detective Comics 615, Penguin Affair Part 2. It crosses over with the main Batman title. Next up, Fantastic Four number 315. Next book, Fantastic Four 316. Okay, next up is an actual reprint. This is Spider-Man Classics number 11. Reprints first appearance of the Enforcers and the Big Man versus Spider-Man. Okay, switching over to DC. This is Star Trek number 8 from 1984. Has a nice appearance of Saavik. If you're a fan of the Star Trek movies from the late 70s and 80s with the original crew, you'll probably like this run. Next up, the following volume, Star Trek number 11, The Trial of James T. Kirk, Part 2. Star Trek number 12, Trial of James T. Kirk, Part 3, the conclusion. Okay, we're going to go back to Marvel. This is Thor, number 393. Next book, Thor, number 394. I like this cover. Next book, Thor 408 versus Mongoose. This is actually the one where Thor pleads to Odin to save Eric Masterson, and he ends up becoming Thor's human alter ego. Next book, this is Thor 411 versus the Juggernaut, part of the Acts of Vengeance crossover. This is actually the first a cameo of the New Warriors and also Night Thrasher. Next book, Thor number 412, full appearance of the New Warriors and Night Thrasher. Okay, this will be the last book that's a little bit older, and then we'll go switch over the new ones. This is Witchblade number 120. This is actually the point in the book where they bring in another character. I think her name is Danielle Baptiste, I think. and she actually shares the Witchblade with Sarah Pezzini. Okay, let's transition to some new books. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 44, Legacy 938, the conclusion of the Gang War storyline. Next, Batman number 145. Next book is actually a facsimile. This is Detective Comics 411 facsimile, first appearance of Talia al Ghul. Next one. This is Detective Comics number 1082. I believe that's Dr. Hurt on the cover. Okay. Next book is Conan the Barbarian number 8. This is the new volume from Titan Comics. Highly recommend this book. Very good. Next book, Gunslinger Spawn number 29. Part of the fallout from Spawn 350. Next up, nice Alex Ross cover. This is Thor number 7, Legacy number 768. Back to Spawn, King Spawn number 31. Also continuing to fall out from Spawn 350. Next book from DC, Sinister Sons number 1. Kind of a little bit opposite of the Super Sons. This is the team up of Sinestro's son and also General Zod's son. Next up, What If Aliens number 1. For those who remember the Aliens movie by James Cameron in the 80s, this is actually What If Burke survived. I believe the character was originally played by Paul Reiser, and he actually helped co-write this book. Okay. Another one, Spectacular Spider-Man number 1. Team up title with Peter and Miles. Next book up, Star Wars number 44, The Trial of Lando Calrissian. Next book, Venom number 30, Legacy 230. Next up, Venom number 31 starts a crossover where they go up against Carnage. Next up, Wolverine 44, part of the Sabretooth War. And these are the newest ones. I just got these this past week. This is Action Comics number 1063. Continues the Bizarro storyline. Next up, Alien Black, White, and Blood number 2. Really like this cover. Next book, Amazing Spider-Man number 45. Legacy number 938, really nice John Romita Jr. cover. This is the fallout from Gang War. Next book, Batman and Superman, World's Finest, number 25. Still think this is the best superhero comic on the market right now. Next up, Carnage number 5, continuing the crossover with Venom. Next up, this is actually a horror comic. This is Dark Spaces Hollywood Special number 6. This is the variant cover. I believe this is the last issue, but we'll see. I've enjoyed it so far. Next book we're going to show, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, number 6. It's really slowed down in the last several issues. Hopefully it'll pick back up. Next book, some more Spawn, Scorch, number 27. She Spawn on the cover. Next, Spawn 351. Nice Al Simmons cover. Get some Star Wars Darth Vader, number 44. Next book, Star Wars Mace Windu, number 2. Okay, our next book, Superman, number 12. Highly recommend this volume of Superman. It's probably the best Superman we've had since back when Dan Jurgens was writing it. Very excellent Superman story. Next, this is by Peter David. This is Symbiote Spider-Man 2009, issue 1. A few more here. Transformers, number 6. I think a lot of people reading this book. It deserves a lot of accolades. It's an excellent book. Next up, Ultimate Black Panther, number 2. A few more. Ultimate X-Men, number 1. This is the variant cover. Next book, Web of Spider-Man, number 1. And the last book, we were talking about Wolverine number 45. This is Sabretooth War, part 5. Yes, part 5. Well, that's all the books I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.